What's good, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be giving my predictions for the 2022 season and one player on each team that you're going to want to pay attention to. If you saw my standing predictions from last year, you know I'm terrible at them. All I'm doing this year is I'm going to say what place I think the team's going to finish in and one player you really want to watch on that team. If you haven't seen the previous video, maybe it's because you weren't subscribed, so make sure to hit subscribe as we get started here and not wasting any time. Go to the National League East. Starting off in the National League East, I've got the Braves as my first place finishers, and one person you're going to want to pay attention to is that dude, Ronald Acuna Jr. Obviously, if you're a baseball fan, I think you know who Ronald Acuna is. He broke into the league in 2018, winning Rookie of the Year, and he hasn't looked back since. He's been the face of the Braves franchise since Freddie Freeman left, and he is going to be the future moving forward for them, so obviously he's someone you want to pay attention to this year. He isn't exactly going to be a factor right off the bat because he's not going to be healthy for opening day, but rest assured, when Ronald Acuna Jr. comes back, he's going to be the dude to watch on that team. My prediction for second place is going to be the New York Mets, and obviously there are kind of two guys you want to pay attention to on this team, Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer. The Mets have a lot of key pieces, but obviously these two guys are going to be a huge part of their success this year, and whether or not these guys can stay healthy for an entire season. I think if you get 20 to 25 starts from each Scherzer and deGrom, the Mets are going to be in a good position to find themselves in the playoffs at the end of the year. However, that's a big if they can stay healthy. Both of these guys dealt with some injuries last year. Scherzer's seeing a decrease in velocity, and he is going to be turning 38 in the middle of the first season here, but he's been an all-star every single year since 2013. I don't expect him to slow up at all. Pay attention to these guys. Coming in at third place, I've got the Philadelphia Phillies, and obviously the dude to watch there is the reigning MVP, Bryce Harper. Harper had a huge season last year, clobbing 35 home runs, batting .309, and driving in 84 RBIs, while also scoring 101 runs in the process. Not only was he the MVP, but he also brought home Silver Slugger honors. He led the league in slugging and OPS, and also led the league with 42 doubles. It looked to me like Bryce Harper really started to figure things out in Philly last year, and I think we can expect more of the same coming from him in 2022. Definitely pay attention to him in their lineup, along with all the huge free agent signings they made this offseason. Finishing in fourth place, or at least my prediction for fourth place, is going to be the Miami Marlins, and the guy to watch on that team is one of the most exciting guys in baseball, Jazz Chisholm Jr. Definitely answering a little bit on Liam's behalf here because he is a huge Jazz Chisholm fan, but I'm a Jazz Chisholm fan and you should be too. The dude plays with a bunch of swagger and a ton of energy when he's out there. He's fun to watch. Chisholm is just 24 years old, so he's got a lot of time to develop still, but he hit .248 last year. He knocked 18 balls out of the park, but the thing that is really impressive to me, or at least jumping out to me, is the 23 stolen bases. We saw Jazz make some great plays in the field last season. He's super gifted athletically, and he's just a fast dude overall. I think he can make a push for 30 stolen bases this year. Keep an eye on him because I definitely think he's going to be making appearances on SportsCenter's top 10 list all season long. Finishing in last place, I've got my very own Washington Nationals in the middle of the rebuild, but the one dude you want to pay attention to is obviously Juan Soto. Soto just got beat out in the MVP race by Harper last season, but make no mistake, he had an incredible season. A WAR north of 7, .313 batting average, scored 111 runs while driving in 95, and an on-base percentage of .465. .465 on-base percentage. That's ridiculous. A lot of people have Soto as their pick to win the MVP this year. I'm not so sure if that's going to happen because I just don't think he has a ton of protection in that lineup, but keep an eye on Josh Bell for the Nats this season too. I think he's going to have a huge bounce-back season. Two guys to watch. All right, heading over to the National League Central, I've got the Milwaukee Brewers finishing in first place, and the dude you want to pay attention to is the reigning Cy Young Award winner, Corbin Burnes. Burnes only had an 11-5 record last season, but he pitched to a league-best .243 ERA. He struck out 234 batters, but most impressively, he did so over 167 innings pitched. That is a ridiculous K per 9 innings. So yeah, this is a guy that's going to strike out a ton of batters, not let the ball out of the ballpark, and if you weren't paying attention to his season last year, you definitely want to be paying attention this time around because he's legit. Finishing in second place in the National League Central, I've got the St. Louis Cardinals, and this might be a bit of a boring answer, but the guy that I'm excited to watch in St. Louis this year is Albert Pujols. Obviously, there are better players on the Cardinals than Albert Pujols, but entering his age 42 season, I just had to pay respect to one of the best hitters this game has ever seen. Pujols was an all-star in St. Louis every year between 2003 and 2010. He won 3 MVPs during that time, and he also had 2 World Series rings when it was all said and done and he left for LA. It's also going to be his final season, so it's going to be fun to watch his retirement tour, and he gets to do it alongside Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina, so that's pretty fun. They got the band back together. Who knows? Maybe they have a legit shot at winning the whole thing this year. Finishing in third place, I've got the Cincinnati Reds, and then it's a bit of a toss-up on this one, but I'm going to go with Hunter Greene as the guy I'm most excited to watch for the Reds this year. Greene has had a lot of hype speculated around him since he was drafted 2nd overall by the Reds in 2017, but he's been absolutely tearing it up in the minors and he's ready to come to the show. Coming out of college, Green was actually a two-way player, and a lot of people were debating whether he should be a position player or pitcher, but obviously the Reds started developing him as a pitcher and never looked back. He went to the Futures game in 2018, and he's currently slated to make his MLB debut on April 10th. Make sure to tune in. You are not going to want to miss that. Coming in 4th place, I've got the Chicago Cubs, and the dude that I'm excited to watch for them this season is going to be Seiya Suzuki. The deal that Suzuki signed with Cubs is actually the largest for a position player in the history of Japan, and it's the 5th largest contract the Cubs have ever given out, period, so he's getting paid. Suzuki is currently 27 years old. He's going to be turning 28 in August in the middle of this season. But I think it's going to be really interesting to see how he adapts coming overseas and playing in the MLB. I hope he can make the adjustment and hit a ton of home runs for the Cubs this year. He should be exciting to watch. Finishing in last place in the NL Central, I've got the Pirates. I think they may be there for a while, unfortunately. But the dude I'm excited to watch is hopefully Bryan Reynolds has another really good season. Reynolds had a breakout season in 2021. He hit over 300, led the league with 8 triples, and managed to drive in 90 RBIs after he couldn't even hit 200 in the COVID-shortened 2020 season. The year before that was actually his rookie year. He finished 4th in Rookie of the Year voting in 2019. He had a pretty solid season, but nowhere near as good as he was in 2021. I think he's going to be exciting to watch this year because I think we're going to get the 2021 Bryan Reynolds again. I totally believe what we saw from him last year. He looks like the legit deal, so hopefully he has another really nice season. Heading over to the NL West, I'm really going to shock everyone and take the Dodgers to win the division here, but the dude that I'm most excited to watch play for them this year is going to be shortstop Trey Turner. I know I'm a little biased for taking Turner here because he's a former National, but he had an absolutely monster season last year. He had a WAR of 6.5, led the league with 195 hits, also hit 28 bombs in the process and batted .328. Just ridiculous numbers on the offensive side of the baseball. He's got a great glove at short, very fast on his feet, and we know he loves to swipe a base when he can take a chance. He had 32 last season. A big storyline for Turner this year will be he's a pending free agent, so at the end of the season his contract runs up. I don't think the Dodgers are going to trade him, so it'll be interesting to see if the Dodgers offer him a contract extension and to see how Trey adjusts to all these extra teams watching him, knowing that they might be able to sign him in the offseason. He might be feeling some extra pressure, but I hope he has another great year. Coming in at 2nd place, I think it's going to be the San Diego Padres, and obviously a big piece of that puzzle is how quickly they get back Fernando Tatis Jr. He is a stud. Tatis dealt with some injuries last season, but still had a monster year. He had 42 home runs, batted .282, drove in 97 RBIs while scoring 99 in the process, and had an ERA of 6.6. However, he is not going to be with the Padres starting on opening day because he's dealing with an injury. How quickly they can get Tatis back from that injury is critical, in my opinion, to whether or not the Padres can make the playoffs. I totally think they can do it. They've got a bunch of good players surrounding him, but having him is key to making that lineup click, and the rest follows. 3rd place, I've got the San Francisco Giants. This is just such a tough division, guys. I mean, 3 really good teams fighting for the top spot here, but the dude I'm most excited to watch for them is definitely going to be the new signing, Carlos Rondon. Rondon had a really good season last year. In fact, it was probably the best season of his career, which is why it surprised me when the Giants signed him for as much as they did. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was absolutely terrific. Earned himself an All-Star game appearance, finished 5th in the Cy Young Award voting, and pitched to an ERA of 2.37. Not too shabby at all. However, he is a career .379 pitcher, and for those of you that don't know, he really struggled in the COVID-shortened season in 2020. His ERA was 8.22, so last season was definitely a breakout campaign for him. I think it's going to be really interesting to see, can he repeat his success, or is that just a standalone season for him? Coming in 4th place, I've got the Rockies. I don't know how they're going to beat the Diamondbacks, but maybe it's because of this guy, Kris Bryant. He's the dude I'm excited to watch. I think I speak for a lot of people when we say we were surprised to see Kris Bryant sign with the Rockies out of nowhere this offseason. They certainly weren't regarded as one of the front runners for Bryant, but somehow they got it done, inking him to a 7-year, $182 million contract. Obviously, I'm used to seeing him in a Cubs uniform for a long time, but he had a great season last year. He mashed 25 home runs. I think he's going to continue to do more of the same at Coors Field. Who knows? Maybe he'll have a 40 home run year. But Kris Bryant is definitely going to be the dude to watch for the Rockies this year. And finishing in 5th place, I've got the Arizona Diamondbacks, and I think this is a bit of an obvious answer, but Ketel Marte is definitely the guy to watch for them. Marte had a batting average of .318 last season, along with 14 homers to go with it, and an on-base percentage of .377. Whew, that is high. We also know he's a great defender out there in the field, but it'll be interesting to see if he can get back to his 2019 self. That's when he was an all-star. He finished 4th in MVP voting and really started to break out as a superstar. Hope he can make it happen, but unfortunately, I don't know if he's even going to be on the Diamondbacks at the end of the year. Heading over to the American League East, we've got the Blue Jays in 1st place, baby. They're one of my candidates to win the World Series this early in the the year. But Vladimir Guerrero Jr., he is going to be a huge part of their success this year. Vladdy launched an AL best 48 home runs last year. Dude had an on-base percentage of .401. He was an all-star, he had a silver slugger, and he absolutely would have been the MVP if it weren't for Shohei Ohtani. He had a WAR of 6.8 and 111 RBIs to go along with it, and as I mentioned, really is a travesty that he was in the same league as Shohei because he totally was deserving of an MVP award. We all know what Vladdy Jr. can do. I don't think it's a matter of, oh, is he gonna have a season like that again? I'm just really excited to watch him start destroying baseballs again. I hope you all are too. In second place, I'm gonna say the Yankees. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that because a lot of people don't even think the Yankees will be that good this year, but I think Aaron Judge is gonna bounce back in a huge way and have a monster season. Don't get me wrong, Judge had a great season last year. He was an all-star, had a Silver Slugger award, he mashed 39 home runs and finished 4th in the MVP voting. But when I say I think he's gonna bounce back this year, I'm talking 2017 Aaron Judge, when he was Rookie of the Year and got robbed of an MVP from Jose Altuve. I think we're gonna see numbers similar to that this year from Aaron Judge. I don't know how or why, but I think he's gonna get a lot more respect from pitchers, hopefully start to pick up the pitches a lot better too, and force some more walks, get ahead in the count, and destroy some pitches for the Yankees. Coming in third place, I've got the Tampa Bay Rays, and the dude that I'm really excited to watch for that team has got to be Wander Franco. That dude is a stud. Franco's just 21. He will be all season long, but he played a good rookie year last year. He played shortstop and third base. He had a wins above replacement of 3.5 and batted .288, not bad. Obviously, what caught everyone's attention last season was when the Rays inked him to a deal worth $182 million, including options that could make it worth up to $223 million. So yeah, it's safe to say that Wander is going to be playing there for quite a while and is the future of that franchise. I'm excited to see what he can do in a full season's length of play. Coming in fourth place, I think it's going to be the Boston Red Sox. I know fans aren't going to be happy to hear that one, but the dude I'm excited to watch for them is obviously the new signing, Trevor Story. I feel like Trevor Story always got unnecessary hate because he played in Colorado, but don't get it twisted. This dude has actual pop, he hits major home runs, and he's going to continue to do that in Boston this year. He signed a 6-year, $140 million contract, so he's going to be part of that Red Sox infield for a while. But I'm excited to see him play in Fenway this year. I think he's going to hit some titanic home runs over the Green Monster in left field. It should be fun to watch. Finishing in last place, it's my neighbors across the DMV district, the Baltimore Orioles. But the dude I am super excited to watch again this year is Cedric Mullins. Can he reproduce the success he had last season? Mullins had a huge breakout campaign in 2021. He was an all-star, he won a Silver Slugger award, he finished 9th in the MVP voting, but honestly, I think that's a little low. .360 on-base percentage, and oh, of course, you can't forget about those 30 stolen bases, making him a member of the exclusive 30 home run, 30 stolen base club. Cedric Mullins is a person that I think a lot of people are going to be rooting for this year. He found his stroke in the middle of last season out of nowhere. He had an incredible season, and I hope he can put up those kinds of numbers again for the Orioles. Moving over to the American League Central, in first place, I've got the Chicago White Sox. I think they've got a ton of key pieces to making that team click, but the dude I'm excited to watch is Liam Hendriks. Not only is Hendriks one of the best relief pitchers in baseball, he's also one of the most entertaining players to watch out on the mound with his incredible intensity. Finished 9th in Cy Young Award voting the year before that, and 13th in MVP award voting. All in all, at the end of the day, Hendriks had 38 saves with a .254 ERA to go along with it. Expect more of the same from him this season. He is going to be dominant out of that bullpen. All right, coming in second place, I'm going to shock some people, but I'm going to take the Detroit Tigers. I think they're going to make a big step this year, and a big part of that is going to be Spencer Torkelson. Always exciting when a former #1 overall pick reaches the league, but he's only 22 years old, so he's still very young. Torkelson just hit his first spring training home run today. He looks like he's ready to make the leap to the majors, and I think his contributions to the big club is going to feed and radiate for everyone, and they're going to find themselves in the hunt for the wild card at the end of this season. Definitely look at the Tigers to be a serious dark horse candidate. Finishing in third place, I've got the Minnesota Twins, and the dude that I'm most excited to watch on that team has got to be Byron Buxton. I actually had Byron Buxton in fantasy last season. He was really good, but obviously the issue with him every year is, can he stay healthy? Hopefully this is finally the year, because in 61 games last year, Buxton hit .306 with 19 home runs, 32 RBIs, 9 stolen bases, and a .358 on-base percentage. He was absolutely tearing it up before he got hurt. I hope he can stay healthy this year, and he might have a legit shot at AL MVP. Finishing in fourth place, I think it's going to be the Cleveland Guardians, and the player that I'm most excited to watch while he's still on the Guardians is going to be Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez had a great season for Cleveland last year. Although the batting average only says .266, his on-base percentage was .355. He had 36 bombs and drove in 103 RBIs in the process, good for a WAR of 6.7. His name was getting thrown around at the trade deadline a lot last season, and it makes sense. He's a great player for a team that isn't really in a competitive state right now. I think we're probably going to see him dealt at some point this season, but while he's still there, Guardians fans, pay attention to Jose Ramirez. He's your guy. And then finishing in last in the AL Central, it's going to be the Kansas City Royals, but a dude that I am genuinely excited to watch play is Bobby Witt Jr. Witt was drafted second overall by the Kansas City Royals back in 2019, and he's been making quick progress through the ranks ever since. He was in the Futures game for the American League last year, and according to Major League Baseball, he is the top prospect going into the season. Baseball America's got him ranked third overall, but either way, it's clear that we have some serious talent breaking into the majors here, and it's going to be fun watching him develop as a rookie. Heading over to the AL West, it's going to be the Houston Astros, I think, coming out on top again. I just don't see how anyone can top them, but a guy I'm pretty excited to watch come back is Justin Verlander. If you're suddenly found yourself thinking, I didn't see a lot of Justin Verlander last season, that's because you didn't see any of Justin Verlander last season. He was actually recovering from Tommy John surgery and didn't pitch at all last year. However, the last time we saw a full healthy season of Justin Verlander, he was the American League Cy Young in 2019, leading the league in starts, wins, and WHIP. A career ERA of 3.33 and over 200 career wins, it's obvious he's one of the greatest pitchers of our current generation, and I think he's going to continue to find success this year. Coming in second in the American League West, I think it's going to be the Los Angeles Angels. I really hope they make the playoffs, and I really hope that Mike Trout gets to see a playoff game. But the dude I'm going to say I'm excited to watch play is Shohei Ohtani, obviously. I mean, for crying out loud, the dude does it on both sides of the baseball. He pitches every fifth day, and then he's the DH for them. I'll just let you reminisce in these absolutely ridiculous MVP numbers Shohei put up last year. A WAR of 9.1, 46 home runs, 100 RBIs driven in, an on-base percentage of 372. That's not even tapping into his pitching statistics. He also started for the American League in the All-Star game while racking up 150 strikeouts over the course of the year. Everyone is going to be paying attention to Shohei this year to see if he can replicate the success he had on both sides of the baseball last year. It's going to be really fun to watch. Coming in third place, I think it'll be the Seattle Mariners, and the dude that I'm really excited to watch is going to be the new signing, Robbie Ray. Ray signed a 5-year, $115 million contract with the Mariners this offseason, and it was well-deserved. He pitched to a record of 13-7 last year while boasting a 2.84 ERA. Naturally, he was rewarded the American League Cy Young Award honors, but he actually wasn't an all-star, funny enough. However, I have a lot of faith in Robbie Ray to replicate the success he had last season because he has always been a strikeout pitcher, and he continued to do that last season. Finishing in fourth place, I think it's going to be the Texas Rangers, despite the fact that they made two huge signings to look at this season, Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. The Rangers spent $500,325 to Seager and $175 to Marcus Semien to make up their infield for the next decade or so. Personally, I'm really excited to see how Corey Seager plays on a team other than the Dodgers. He's been a part of a lot of dominant Dodgers teams over the past few years, and now he's finally going to be in a lineup where he is the 3-hitter. He's going to be the guy to make the lineup click, versus with the Dodgers, I think he was really more of an accessory for some of the other bigger names on that team. He's finally got a chance to be a star of his own show, and he's got a shot to do that in Texas. I wish him all the luck, and I think he's going to have a great year this year. Finishing in fifth place, I've got the Oakland A's, and I think a dude I'm really excited to watch on that team is Ramon Laureano. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing his last name right. Let's face it, there's not a whole lot to get excited about for the A's these days, but Ramon Laureano, I think, is one of those guys. He's got a cannon in the outfield. I think he's also pretty fast on the base path, so we can see him steal some bases, but really I just like his energy in the dugout. When you watch him playing, he looks like he's having fun. He seems like a good dude to be around, so he's just entertaining to watch. I think if I watch the team day in and day out, there are probably some players that would be more entertaining to watch, but from the perspective of just trying to watch one crazy defensive play, Ramon Laureano is that guy for me. I think he makes some of the best throws in baseball, and I think he's going to gun some dude out from the warning track this year. So, well, that's it. I have no idea how long this video is actually going to be, but I know that it took me forever to film it. So if you did enjoy, please drop a like or leave a comment. It really does mean a lot to us when we see your guys' comments. We try to reply to all of them, but make sure to run it up down there and hit subscribe if you're not already at this point. But we're going to be getting back to our regular schedule soon. Liam and I are done with college in about a month, and we're going to be working privately with independent and minor league teams to bring you guys incredible access that we've never had before and put out the best content on this channel we've ever seen. Thank you all for watching, and make sure to stay tuned to our Instagram. We're going to be having some more giveaways happening soon. Early 2022 World Series pick, I got the Blue Jays. Thank you all for watching. Take care.